Presence is rare. In a world where attention is divided, screens are glowing, and minds are always half a step ahead, the man who can be fully rooted in the moment becomes unforgettable. It's not about sitting across from her and hearing her words, it's about feeling them. It's about shutting off the noise, slowing your energy, giving her the gift most men don't even know how to offer anymore. Undivided attention. Not performative attention. It's not attention based on what you can get out of the moment, but real, grounded, masculine stillness. When you're deeply present with a woman, she feels it on a level she can't fully explain. Her nervous system relaxes. Her mind quiets down. She no longer feels like she has to earn the moment, fill the space, or keep proving herself. And that shift from performing to simply being makes you unforgettable. Because very few men can offer a woman the space to just exist without interruption, judgment, or agenda. Most men are chasing a result. They want a reaction, a number, a night, a win. Their presence isn't real, it's transactional. But the man who's not trying to impress, not trying to manipulate the outcome, not even trying to be like that man, leaves a lasting imprint. Because he's not focused on what comes next. He's not fidgeting with his phone. He's not waiting to speak. He's locked in, steady, observant, engaged, not through force, but through calm presence. You become the eye of the storm, and in that stillness she feels something new, something safe, yet deeply magnetic. She might not remember every word you said, but she'll remember the feeling of being completely seen, heard, and held in a moment that felt real. That's what presence does. That's what stays with her. Forever. Asterisk, there's a reason most men are forgettable, because they only offer one side of what a woman truly craves. Some try to be the nice guy, always agreeable, always emotionally available, always validating. But they lack edge. They lack presence. They lack that masculine core that makes a woman feel secure in something deeper than just comfort. On the other hand, you have men who lead with dominance, assertive, confident, powerful, but cold, detached, emotionally unavailable. These men might attract her for a while, but eventually she leaves feeling unseen, unheard, and discarded. And then there's the rare man who fuses both emotional safety and unapologetic masculinity. That man becomes unforgettable. Emotional safety isn't about always agreeing or being soft, it's about creating a space where she feels safe to unravel, express, and be real without fear of being judged, dismissed, or manipulated. It's the way you listen without interrupting, the way you hold her gaze when she opens up about her insecurities, the way you respond with grounded calmness rather than fixing or controlling. It tells her, you're safe here, I can handle you. That alone makes you stand out, but it's not enough. What makes you unforgettable is when that safety is paired with strength. Strength in your decisions, strength in your principles, strength in your ability to say no, set boundaries, and lead with clarity. You don't sacrifice your masculinity to make her comfortable. You remain rooted in who you are, unapologetically. You're not trying to impress or please. You're just fully expressed and yet fully present. This contrast is rare. And it's this contrast that keeps her mind coming back to you. You were the only one who could make her feel both held and challenged, both safe and excited, both secure and intrigued. That duality doesn't fade, it imprints. Deeply asterisk, the man who doesn't need her becomes the man she can't stop thinking about. It's a paradox most men never figure out. They believe showing constant interest, being always available, and making her feel pursued is the way to win her over. But what they don't realize is that neediness, whether it's subtle or obvious, creates pressure. And pressure kills attraction. Women aren't drawn to men who orbit around them. They're drawn to men who move with their own gravity. The man she never forgets is the one who made her feel desired but not necessary. He showed interest, yes, but never dependence. His energy wasn't desperate or demanding. It was calm, focused, and detached. He didn't try to convince her to stay. He didn't perform to keep her attention. He simply extended an invitation into his world, and whether she stepped into it or not, his path remained unchanged. That kind of energy is powerful. It makes her feel curious, not in control. It makes her feel drawn in, but not sure why. What makes this man different is that his sense of value doesn't rise or fall based on her attention. He doesn't text out of anxiety. He doesn't call just to reassure himself he isn't available. At every hour because he has purpose, structure, and self-respect. And if she pulls away, he doesn't panic, he lets her go. It's not out of spite, but because he trusts himself. He knows who he is, and he refuses to bend for validation. That's the energy that lingers because it's rare. She remembers the way she had to earn him. She remembers the space he gave her to pursue him back. And most of all, she remembers how grounded and whole he was with or without her. So that energy is unforgettable. Asterisk theirs. A moment she'll never forget, the moment you walked away. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but with calm, quiet self-respect. That one acts as more about who you are than 1,000 words ever could. It's because most men, when faced with disrespect, do the opposite. They argue. They try to explain themselves. They beg for clarity. They fight for a place they were already being pushed out of. And in doing so, they hand away their power. But the man who values himself enough to leave when he's no longer respected, that man becomes unforgettable. Walking away isn't weakness. It's the ultimate strength. It's the moment you choose dignity over desperation. You don't slam the door. Don't make a scene. You don't try to guilt her into treating you better. You simply refuse to stay where your worth is ignored. And that calm exit that changes everything, because suddenly she's not in control of the story. You are. And that reversal where you decide what's acceptable and what isn't forces her to see you differently. Forces her to face what she just lost. Most men stay too long. They tolerate too much. They compromise their values to keep a woman close. But when you don't, when you walk away not to punish her, but to protect your peace, you leave a lasting impression. It's not about pride. It's about principle. It's about sending a message not to her, but to yourself that your self-respect isn't negotiable. That's what echoes in her mind. Long after you're gone, she replays that moment. Not because you yelled, but because you didn't. Because you left like a man who doesn't beg for crumbs. That strength that centered, grounded power stays with her. It haunts her. Because she knows she'll never find it again in a man who lacks it. Asterisk, the most unforgettable man is the one she could never quite figure out. He was steady, reliable in his presence, consistent in who he was, but emotionally elusive, just enough to keep her mind spinning. There's something deeply addictive about a man who doesn't give you everything all at once. Not out of manipulation, but because he doesn't need to be fully seen to feel secure in himself. He's whole already. Damn. And that quiet self-containment creates tension that keeps her thinking. Wondering and craving more, he never made her guess where he stood. As a man, his values, his confidence, his purpose were clear. But emotionally, he was deep water. You could stand at the edge and look in, but you'd never see the bottom. That mystery, that subtle unknown, that's what she remembers. It's not because he played games, but because he had layers and he never rushed to peel them back for anyone. She had to earn access to his world, piece by piece, moment by moment. While other men dumped their emotions at her feet trying to force intimacy, he revealed himself slowly. He gave her space to lean in, to pursue, to guess, to anticipate. And in that space, her desire expanded. Because desire thrives in mystery. In not knowing everything, in that beautiful tension between what's seen and what's sensed, he wasn't. Cold he was warm in his presence, but he never chased, he never overshared, he never begged to be understood. And that combination of stability and mystery created a pull no woman easily forgets. She remembers him not for what he gave her, but for what he made her feel. Intrigued, curious, emotionally off balance. The others were easy to read. He wasn't, and that made all the difference. Because you can't forget the man who left you wondering.